Picture this. You're standing at a vast parking lot. Rows upon rows of cars stretch as far as the eye can see. Sedans, SUVs, hatchbacks. A sea of metal and rubber, each one designed to get you from point A to point B. But then, cutting through this automotive monotony, you spot it. A Porsche. Sleek, powerful, unmistakable. It doesn't just sit there, it seems to hover, ready to leap into action at moment's notice. Now here's a question that might make you squirm a bit. If your brand were a car in this lot, which one would it be? Be honest. Is it the reliable but unremarkable sedan? The practical minivan? Or is it that Porsche, commanding attention and inspiring desire? If you hesitated, if you felt a twinge of discomfort, don't worry, you're not alone. In fact, you're in good company, because most brands, even the ones run by smart, hardworking people, blend into the background. They're the automotive equivalent of beige. Inoffensive, but ultimately forgettable. But here's the thing. You didn't start your business to be forgettable, did you? You didn't pour your heart, soul, and savings into your venture just to become another indistinguishable face in the crowd. No. You started your business to make a difference, to stand out, to be the Porsche in a sea of sameness. So why is it so hard? Why do so many brands end up in the bland middle, jostling for attention like teenagers at a pop concert? The answer lies in a fundamental misunderstanding of what a brand really is. And that's what we're going to unpack over the next 5 videos. We're going to deconstruct the Porsches of branding, examining every component, every nuance, until you have the blueprint to transform your brand from a clunker into a high-performance machine. But before we dive in, let's address the elephant in the room. You might be thinking, I'm not a Porsche. I don't have the budget, the history, their prestige. And you're right, you're not a Porsche. You're you, and that's your superpower. You see, Porsche didn't start out as Porsche. In 1948, Ferdinand Porsche and his son Ferry started their company in a small sawmill in Austria. Their first car, the Porsche 356, was built by hand using parts from the Volkswagen Beetle. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't luxurious, but it was different. It was a sports car in a post-war Europe starved for excitement and aspiration. Porsche didn't become Porsche by copying others. They became Porsche by being uniquely, unashamedly Porsche. And that's the first lesson in our journey. Your brand's power lies not in imitation, but in amplification. Amplification of what makes you unique, what makes you valuable, what makes you, well, you. Now let's talk about the common pitfalls, the mistakes that turn potentially remarkable brands into wallflowers at the business ball. The first mistake is thinking of branding as a coat of paint. A logo here, a tagline there, maybe a fancy website, and voila, you have a brand, right? Wrong. That's like thinking you can turn up a beat-up old jalopy into a Porsche just by giving it a shiny red paint job. It might look better, but it's still going to rattle and wheeze when you try to take it out on the highway. The second mistake is treating branding, advertising, and marketing as separate, unrelated entities. This fragmented approach is like trying to build a Porsche by ordering random parts from different manufacturers. You might end up with something that resembles a car, but is not going to perform like a Porsche. The third mistake is playing it safe. Trying to appeal to everyone, being all things to all people, this is the fastest route to invisibility. Remember, Porsche doesn't try to appeal to everyone. They know who they are, and more importantly, who they're for. They're not afraid to be polarizing because they understand a fundamental truth of branding. If you're not turning some people off, you're probably not turning anyone on. So what's the alternative? What's the secret to building a brand that performs like Porsche? It's what I call the conquer with velocity principle. It's about viewing your brand holistically, like a high-performance sports car, where every component works together for maximum impact. It's about integration, alignment, and most importantly, intention. Think about a Porsche. Every curve, every component, every feature is there for a reason. Nothing is arbitrary. Nothing is an afterthought. Everything works in harmony to create a driving experience that is more than the sum of its parts. Your brand should be no different. Every aspect of your brand, from your core purpose to your customer service to your social media presence, should be intentional, aligned, and working together to create a cohesive brand experience. Let's break it down. Your brand's vision and values, that's your frame, the foundation everything else is built on. Just as a Porsche's frame provides structure and integrity, your vision and values provide your backbone of your brand. They inform every decision, every interaction, every product or service you offer. Your purpose, that's your engine, the power that drives everything forward. A Porsche's engine isn't just about raw power, it's about delivering that power efficiently and effectively. Similarly, your brand's purpose isn't just about making money, although that's important. It's about the change you want to create in the world, the problems you're solving, the value you're adding. It's what gets you out of the bed in the morning and keeps you going when times get tough. Your visual identity, that's your exterior and interior design, what people see and experience. But remember, as Porsche's design isn't just about looking good, every aspect of its design serves a purpose, whether it's improving aerodynamics or enhancing the driving experience. Your brand's visual identity should do the same. Not just catch the eye, but communicate your values, reinforce your positioning, and create an emotional connection with your audience. Your advertising, that's your fuel. What keeps you running and visible? But not all fuels are created equal. A Porsche requires high-octane fuel to perform at its best. Your advertising should be the same. High quality, strategically targeted, and aligned with your brand's values and positioning. And your marketing? That's your GPS and driver guiding you to your destination. The best car in the world won't get you where you want if you don't know how to drive it or where you're going. Your marketing strategy provides that direction, ensuring all your efforts are taking you towards your goal. When all these elements work in harmony, magic happens. You create a brand that is not just visually appealing, but also purpose-driven, attention-grabbing, and strategically positioned for success. It's the difference between being just another car on the road and being the Porsche that everyone aspires to own. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds great, but my business is nothing like Porsche. How does this apply to me? Here's the thing. The Conquer with Velocity principle isn't about becoming Porsche. It's about applying the same level of intention, integration, and alignment to your brand that Porsche applies to their cars. It's about being the best version of you, not a second-rate version of someone else. Maybe you run a local bakery. Your Porsche might be creating an experience so delightful, so memorable, that people go out of their way to buy your bread instead of picking up a loaf at the supermarket. Or maybe you're a B2B software company. Your Porsche might be crafting a user experience so intuitive, so valuable, that your software becomes indispensable to your clients. The specifics will be different for every brand, but the principle remains the same. Intentionality, integration, alignment, excellence. Over the next few videos, we're going to dive deep into each component of the Conquer with Velocity principle. We'll explore how to build your brand like a performance car, fuel it with high-octane advertising, and navigate it to success with precision marketing. But here's a tip to get you started. Begin questioning everything about your brand. Is your purpose as powerful and defining as your Porsche's engine? Is your visual identity as distinctive and purposeful as a Porsche's design? Is your marketing as precise and effective as a Porsche's handling? This isn't just an intellectual exercise. It's about creating a brand that performs, a brand that accelerates past the competition, handles the twist and turn of the market with ease, and leaves a lasting impression long after it's passed by. It's about building something that is not just successful, but significant. Not just profitable, but purposeful. Not just good, but remarkable. Because here's the truth. The world doesn't need another mediocre brand. The world is full of mediocre brands. What the world needs, what your customer needs, is a brand that stands for something. A brand that makes a difference. A brand that, like Porsche, on an open highway, performs at the highest level and inspires others to do the same. That's the brand you can build. That's the brand you deserve to build. And that's the brand we're going to build together over the next videos. Are you ready? ready to challenge your assumptions, ready to push your boundaries, ready to transform your brand from a run-of-the-mill sedan into a high-performance Porsche. Then buckle up. Over the next videos, we're going to take your brand on the ride of its life. You'll learn how to build your brand like a luxury car, fuel it with high-octane advertising, and navigate it to success with precision marketing. And by the end, you'll have the tools you need to create a brand that performs like a Porsche. Don't miss out on this journey. Hit that subscribe button right now, turn on notifications, and get ready to leave your competition in the rearview mirror. Because after this series, your brand won't just be in the race, it will be leading the pack. Remember, in the world of branding, it's not just about being the loudest or the flashiest. It's about being the best version of you. It's about creating a brand that, like Porsche, is unmistakable, unforgettable, and unbeatable. Until next time, stay true, stay you.